Welcome to Let's Talk BD podcast, powered by the BD School.
Hi everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Let's Talk BD podcast. Today with me there is Carolina. Hey Carolina, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good, thank you so much. And today with her we're going to talk actually about AI and a lot of other things. So stay tuned, and I would say, Carolina, let's talk BD. And maybe we can start, with a little bit of your background. So actually you did a little bit of different things. So you worked in content, you were writing content, then more lead generation. You attempted a little bit with video and so on. And now you actually settled on AI agents implementation. So yeah, talk to us a little bit more about your background, your career progression so far, and which one of these different things you did is the one that excites you the most?
Yes, of course. So actually, it might be funny to know that the first time that I started with AI was already at university. So I have a background of economics and law. And at some point, I started doing an internship at a law firm. And I was at the legal tech department, and this was 8 years ago. So AI was there, of course, because it's there already for 10 decennia already. But we were testing with character recognition and seeing how we could actually help lawyers to leverage AI and document automation. Well, back then, at that point, nobody was really ready for it. We did experiment with it, and since then, AI has been in my career all the time. So I started a startup for educational podcasts, and we were experimenting on using AI voices and creating the content with AI. So this was in the GPT 3.5 times before ChatGPT came out. Then indeed, I helped a lot of businesses with content, of course, also with AI in content. So how can you leverage AI to create better content? So not completely automatically, also nowadays, because nowadays GPT can help you create content almost completely automatically, but how to leverage AI to improve content, and also indeed cold emailing, how to leverage AI to improve cold emailing, but also to improve an agency. So how can you improve the business processes within your company to with the help of AI to actually become so much more efficient, so that you as a human being can actually focus on the creativity and the more strategic part that is the most fun part, of course, rather than repetitive tasks. And since then, since a year or so, I started really focusing solely on AI automations and AI agents. So implementing those within businesses, teaching companies on how to leverage AI, how to build AI agents yourself, because that's one fun thing that it's actually super easy to do, to build basic AI agents yourself nowadays. That can already help you big time. So that's what I'm currently focusing on, helping businesses implement AI and teaching business professionals on how they can do it themselves as well.
That's very good. And you actually just served me my next question on the silver plate, because the first thing one thing I wanted to ask is really like if you could really dumb it down and really explain in super simple terms, what are these AI agents that everybody's talking about right now on pretty much everywhere? So explain us really simply, what are these agents?
Yes, so you see it everywhere, and there are also a lot of people who are overcomplicating it, which makes it difficult to understand what is an AI agent now actually. So an AI agent, you can think of it actually as a little bit as a ChatGPT. And what you can do is instruct ChatGPT to perform certain actions. So you can connect an AI agent, so the ChatGPT, to different tools that you are using right now. So, for example, you can connect it to your CRM. You can connect an AI agent to your Slack, WhatsApp, any tool that you're using, to your content creation. And the interesting thing about AI agents is that they can decide when to use what tool depending on how you instruct them. So you instruct them in plain English, just like you prompt ChatGPT. And you tell them, for example, your role is to book appointments. Let's say we're creating an AI agent appointment booker. There's software out there right now that lets you connect your email accounts to an AI agent, that lets you instruct an AI agent in plain English what this AI agent should do, and then also lets you connect an AI agent to to your Calendly, for example, or your Google Calendar directly to check availability and to actually book in meetings. So an AI agent, in very simple terms, is a software or is an AI that can plan, it can execute tasks, and you can instruct it in plain English. And the beautiful thing of it is that it also has a memory and can look back at conversations it already had. So very simplified, of course, but I think this is the most simplified way of looking at an AI agent.
Yes, also because it's like, indeed, you're right that there's some people that are just overcomplicating it. I find it, especially sometimes on LinkedIn, there's some people that, I don't know, maybe they're building their personal branding and they want things to sound more complicated than what they are, because then they can't sell their services. However, something I do like about your content on LinkedIn is that you actually make it super practical. So everyone, after we're going to put the link to a profile so you can go check it for yourself, but you really make super simple guides on how to create these agents, right? And you do make it sound very easy. So is it really that easy? So let's say I know nothing about AI. I just use ChatGPT, for, I don't know, give me ideas for menus of the week, and what I can cook tonight. So very basic understanding. How easy it would be for me to build an agent, an AI agent?
Easy. And that's so I don't know if you have some experience with automations, automation tools like Zapier or Make.com, or ever heard of it. Like, the thing with, if you are building automations, is that you really have to think as a programmer, right? So you really have to think about, how do I connect these tools and how do these flows go? And it can be a bit overwhelming when you start with automations. The beautiful thing about AI agents is that you can instruct them in English, like I mentioned before as well. You can instruct them just like ChatGPT. So it's easy. It's easier, I would say, than building an automation. Because you can tell the agent what to do in English, and even if you make some mistakes, the AI already is
Understands.
It understands. And of course, this is only when you're building a simple, basic AI agent. But once your AI agent starts to need you to become very advanced, it gets really complicated. But you can already build an AI agent that, for example, has knowledge about your company. So you can just upload your website to it or any company documents. Instructed that it needs to answer questions about be able to answer questions about your company, what's in its knowledge. And you can, with one click on a button, you can already put it on your website, for example, or connect it to a WhatsApp number. So it's easy as that. So there are software tools out there that make it very easy right now.
Perfect. And what would they be then? What are these software that make it easy?
Well, for example, Floatgen.ai. This is one of.
I never heard of these Floatgens. Tell us more about it.
This is one of the companies that I am involved with. So Floatgen.ai is we recently launched, so only a couple of weeks ago. So it's a super new software tool, but that's also the beauty in this AI agent space. It is such a new space, as so much is happening right now. And what we do is we make it easy for people to build conversational AI agents. So this might be also interesting to know. There's a difference between conversational AI agents and background AI agents. So conversational AI agents, you can think of it as an AI agent living in WhatsApp, an AI agent living in your Slack account, on chats directly, just like you are chatting with ChatGPT, and you can chat with an AI agent. And this is very useful for sales, customer support, etc. On the other hand, you also have background AI agents, and that are AI agents that are triggered, for example, by a lead form being filled in. And then the AI agents can, for example, start researching a lead and doing research on the internet about the lead, on LinkedIn, etc. And then, for example, qualify the leads based on the instructions that you gave it before. So Floatgen is very useful for building conversational AI agents. So deploy it on your Slack, on your website, etc. And if you are thinking about building background AI agents, and if you have zero tech expertise and really don't know where to start, then I recommend looking at the Zapier AI agents. So they just launched as well a couple of weeks ago, or rebranded it. It was called something else. I do think that their AI agent builder for background AI agents is super intuitive. So they have examples that you can, for example, if an AI agent research every morning and the sales calls that you have that day. So who are the participants? And then the AI agents will research those people and send you a message and a summary on Slack. So Flowgen for conversational AI agents, and Zapier if you want to practice a little bit with the background AI agents.
And it's cool that Zapier. So I've been interviewing many people for this podcast and another podcast I'm working on, which is all about AI. And everybody mentions Zapier, right? Which is funny because Zapier has been around for so many years, and it has been like, it's a bit like, I consider it the grandpa of modern AI, right? Because it's been like around for so many years, and it helps, like, he helped so many companies, like, just integrate tools, and when there was no other option, Zapier was there, so I think we should all be thankful to it. And
Yes,
it's great.
absolutely. Yeah. It's a great tool. I must warn, however, for automations, I'm a much bigger fan of the tool Make.com, because Zapier gets super expensive once you start scaling automation. So it's super user friendly and beginner friendly, but the moment you start scaling, it gets really expensive. But it's for AI agents, I think the most user friendly tool for the background AI agents right now.
Oh, very good. And well, as I mentioned before, so you tend to share very practical knowledge and case studies actually on your profile. So can you tell us maybe what was the most exciting project you worked so far? Maybe a case in which you had to be an AI agent, but it was something, a little bit different than usual. What would that be? What would you say?
And so this project I'm currently working on, it's a WhatsApp AI agent that reaches out to leads once a lead fills in a meta form, for example, on an Instagram ad, or they leave their number. And so one thing is good to know, in the UAE, WhatsApp is maybe even bigger than, I live in Dubai in the UAE, and WhatsApp is bigger than in the Netherlands, in the sense that it's used a lot for B2B business, but also B2C. So it's really a business platform as well over here. So one thing that we're currently doing is once someone fills in a lead form, a WhatsApp agent or a templated WhatsApp message is reaching out to the person, and the person can ask questions, and a WhatsApp agent actually engages with them just like a human. And what we are experimenting with right now, and it is a bit scary, a bit creepy, but is sending voice messages as well, because that's a big thing here in the Middle East, is sending voice messages to each other. So we're experimenting now with Iletta Labs voice cloning and seeing if we can actually send voice messages back. So we can understand voice messages on WhatsApp, the AI agent can do that. But if we can actually send back voice messages right now as well with voice clone, we have to be very, very careful with how we instruct our AI agent that it doesn't start sending weird voice messages based on the conversation. So this is something that we are going to test extensively, and it will take some time before we are actually going to roll this out for this client. But it's an amazing space to be in right now, and to be able to test something like this.
Totally, very interesting. And talking about the voice cloning, right? So Carolina and I know each other now for a couple of years, maybe 3 years. I was one of their clients when Carolina was working for another company, was doing lead generation. So we know each other for a while. And recently we just got back in touch because you were actually experimenting also with AI in video generation, right? Video creation. And so I know you were using, I think, Agen together with 11 Labs and so on, because now, well, in case you don't know, people listening, you can literally clone yourself, right? Clone your voice and so on. So how was your experience in, with this little experiment, of, cloning yourself and your voice? How did it feel from a human perspective, because I'm super excited about AI, but there's some things that are like scary, it's like, well, someone could literally just pretend to be me, they just take a video on YouTube and don't do that, but they could.
It is so scary and so exciting at the same time. So I mostly had that with cloning my voice. So if you're using HeyGen is the AI avatar tool. So the way that works and how you can create your AI avatar is by recording a video of a minimum of 2 minutes where you are speaking in a camera. And what HeyGen in the most basic sense does as a tool is changing your lips and making the synchronizing a little bit different. I was super surprised already with how realistic it looks. But the moment that I started using 11 Labs, where I am cloning my voice, and I could heard myself back, and I could let myself say anything. Oh, that was so creepy, but so cool, and at the same time, but it's scary that this stuff is possible, and but it's amazing as well because I am using still these AI avatar videos daily a lot. This is my biggest way to create content, and I think it's an amazing way to amplify your ability to create content in video, because video content is booming. But I get nervous when I try to record a video 60 seconds and then I stumble, and then every time I think, oh, why am I saying the script wrong? Well, if you're having an AI avatar, I can just type in my script and my AI avatar is telling it in my name.
Perfectly, right?
Yeah, perfectly. And it has my Dutch accent still though, so that's also but that's fine.
Nice.
That's really me. But it's no stumbling. It's clear. It's better actually, I would say, than if I would do it myself.
Oh, and what was the reaction, because like one thing, I consider experimenting with that as well, but then again, there's like, I still have to win this fear of, being cloned, but I'm not really sure how it is perceived, right? I mean, in the sense, like, obviously AI is going really fast. So actually all these tools, they're improving really at such a fast rate, which means like maybe the avatar of 2 weeks ago is like nothing to do with what it is now. So probably as we move forward, there's going to be less and less of this difference. But what type of feedback did you get, when you started sharing videos, using these avatars and using 11 Labs for The Voice? What type of feedback did you get?
So, the big advantage that I have in this space is that I have a personal brand around AI. So for me, if I create AI content, it only boosts my personal brand in the sense that I'm practicing what I'm preaching. So I have not getting any negative feedback, only with my first AI avatar video. So if you're watching, then you will notice that I move a lot with my hands, especially when I'm enthusiastic. And I trained my first AI avatar video on a job application video, and because I looked good, I put my makeup on for that video, etc. It was a clear light, so I thought, oh, let's train my AI avatar on that. And at the time, my AI avatar was making these weird movements at weird moments, and it looked a little bit weird. But anyway, I thought, okay, I need to get the content out. So I hired a video editor who was putting B-roll footage in front of me every time my AI avatar was being too weird. But this was the feedback that I did get back in the beginning, asking why I was moving so weirdly with my hands. After that, I trained a new AI avatar, or multiple new AI avatars actually, because I want to change a little bit, switch it a little bit up. And a couple of days ago, I got a reply or a comment on my LinkedIn post asking how someone was saying, wow, it's so amazing. How do you have the text? How do you say the screen? What's the word for it again?
Read the text. How is it called? I don't remember. But yeah, the screen where you read the words, right? So
yeah, exactly. So how are you doing this? Oh, it's looking so clear in the screen. So this person did not notice at all that it was actually my AI avatar video, although I'm always transparent about it. But
yeah, no, indeed. So I remember also like maybe more from on the learning perspective, right? I remember one of your posts, it was a couple of months ago, maybe at the beginning of the year, in which you were talking of all the learnings that you had in this first, experiment. And I remember one thing that you mentioned, which is something I'm trying to implement as well in my videos, which I learned from you, which is to switch it up, right? So, and really, like, for example, not have always the same clothes or always the same hair and these kind of things, right? To prevent a little bit of fatigue, right? From the watchers. What other things did you learn in this, months experimenting with AI for content generation specifically?
For content generation, I learned that I was not happy yet with the quality of AI script writing. So in terms of post writing, so at the start, when I started out with my AI avatar videos, I also had created a super extensive ChatGPT prompt, which would help me to create the drafts for the scripts. But I switched it up, and now I'm back again to completely writing all my posts and scripts manually back again, because it got too generic often. So it can also be a big failure on my side that I wasn't able to create a good enough prompt or to train my AI properly on it. But no, I think for me, the biggest thing is that I do use AI and AI avatar and AI voice and material to scale my content production in the sense that it amplifies what you're already doing. But I do believe that the best content, if you are focusing on quality content over volume, because in some cases you will want to choose for volume and then AI content is perfectly fine. But if you're really focusing on the best quality, still the human creativity is the most important part there still. And I think that will be the case for a long time as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, I see like for me, the worst case is the LinkedIn comments. It's like the posts now, okay, we can do any, I mean, even LinkedIn is prompting you, right, to rewrite your original thoughts with AI. So, okay, we're at that stage. But the worst, I think, that really the comments is like, it's really like, come on, like sometimes it's really just rephrasing the post in a slightly different way. And you can see that it's AI generated. And I don't know, I find it really goes against the purpose of adding value, right, with what you share online and so on. But well, obviously AI can be great for content creation, but here, of course, we're here to talk BD and to help business developers leverage more AI in their job. And one thing I noticed, when I train business developers and companies, is that obviously nowadays they're all using AI. But I mean, when I talk about AI, I'm really talking mostly about ChatGPT and Perplexity, right? These are the two. Then there's some people that use Claude, some others Copilot, but pretty much the big names, right? Except that the way they use it is very basic in the sense that, they just use it, they just say, hey, this is my buyer persona, write me a cold email. And then obviously you have all these emails that start with in today's fast-paced business development world, right? So which is super like, you can see that it's an AI that wrote it. So how can business developers better leverage AI? So what are some practical tips that can really help them to get the most out of it, for example, in terms of cold outreach and so on?
Yeah, so let's start with the prompt that you just mentioned. So when you're using ChatGPT, the way that you can think of ChatGPT is that it tries to, ChatGPT or AI in general, so also Claude, etc., but it tries to predict your dream outcomes. So this is the way you can think of what it does. So when it gives you an answer, it actually tries to predict what you want to hear. And when you create a prompt, this is something to be very aware of. So there are different elements that you can add to a prompt that can actually help the AI to even better predict your dream outcome and actually get to your dream outcome. But it's only that's for you as a human to actually be aware of that and to actually do that in your prompt. So the first thing that you always should do in your prompt is add a task, obviously. So tell it, create me this email, because if you don't give that task, then nothing will happen. But besides that, you can add other elements. So for example, add some context. So you already mentioned that, add some context on your background, saying I'm a business developer for this company. You can give some more information on what your ideal target customer or what your ICP or etc. But next to that, you can also think about adding, for example, examples of good outcomes. So this is an example of a previous email that was good, or this was an example that was actually bad. So so ChatGPT or the other AIs will know that what you actually think of as a good example. You can give it a persona. So telling it you are an expert business developer, or you are an expert copywriter, or whatever you want or whatever you want ChatGPT to be, you can give it that persona, because it's proven that it will perform better if you do that. So next to task, give it context, give it examples, persona. You can think about the format. So this is also something you can instruct in your prompt. You can add to your prompt, I want it in a table, or I want an email to have 3 paragraphs, or it should be short, or it should be long. You can Also add something about the tone. So should it be Spartan? I like Spartan a lot because I think they're all clear, efficient, but maybe you want it cheery. And this is things. These are things when you are creating a prompt for ChatGPT, to be aware of. That it goes further than just giving a prompt and a little bit of context. No, you can also give it examples. You can also give it a persona. And the way that I actually create a prompt, if I'm going to use a prompt more often, is by starting with the task and then see what the output is. And then I think, okay, I need to give a little bit more context. And then I change my original prompts, and then I add some information, and then I ask it to redo it again, and then take a look at what the output is, and then I add some examples, and then sometimes my prompt can be hundreds of words, just to give more examples, to make more specific, until ChatGPT knows how to predict my dream outcome and give me actually my dream outcome. So that's in terms of prompting.
Good. And, besides obviously now, I think cold outreach and writing cold emails is a bit the most basic example when it comes to BD. I think most of the business developers listening, at some point, they have to write cold emails. But if we think a bit more in general about the business development process, in what other ways do you think business developers could use AI? Like what other use case do you have, that's, maybe you think like, yeah, there are not so many people doing it, but actually they should be doing it because it saves time, right?
Yeah. Okay, let me think on. So one example that I already mentioned in business development is, for example, the AI agent, and that is already a template in a lot of AI agents and automation tools that researches the external participants that you have that day in meetings, so you get some more information on who the persons are that you are meeting with. I think a big advantage in general in business development is research. So you already mentioned Perplexity, of course. Perplexity is, I would say, the go-to tool to do research. But nowadays also ChatGPT has the deep research functionality for Plus users. So I would, by the way, definitely recommend using ChatGPT Plus. The advantages, the advantages are so huge in the sense of the functionality, such as deep research. It's amazing, and I mean it researches 30 to 50 web pages at once. Well, you as a human, you can't even. I don't have the attention span to do that at least. But anyway, so in terms of research, automations or agents that you can think of is, I also mentioned it a little bit earlier, is an lead coming in and an AI agent doing research on this lead. For example, trying to find out, is this lead actually a decision maker or not within a company? Or if not, who is the decision maker that's relevant for you? Is it's a CEO or someone else? Who is this person? And can I find a LinkedIn profile on this person? And can I add this information already to the CRM? And can I maybe, in case you are doing cold calls, can I maybe already write a cold calling script based on a template that you have, but with the information that the research is already filled in? So there's a lot of, mostly on the research part, I think, a lot of advantages that you can leverage AI for. And this is also on the cold emailing part. If you are getting a bit more technical with cold emailing and automate it a bit more, there's huge advantages in doing research and in terms of personalization. And I don't mean personalization saying, hey, I saw you also went to that university. Cool, me too. No, the personalization that makes the cold email actually relevant to a person, because that's, of course, the most important part. And that is something that you can definitely use AI for, to look for any buyer triggers or intense signals. And while we have been speaking about that, of automations and intense signals and that kind of stuff already for years, now with AI, it's the quality is getting better and better and better, and also the platforms where you can get that data is getting better and better and better. So
yeah, the aspect of the signals, the buying intent and so on, I think it's so important, and so many companies get it wrong because they're really looking at I think the wrong signals, like there are still companies, that they reach out to people that downloaded the white paper from their website and so on. While I think by now everybody knows that if someone downloads a white paper or something, it doesn't mean that they're going to buy from you. So I do agree that probably in this case, AI can really be a huge help, really to identify the right opportunities, right? So that you don't have to waste time, let's say, on the wrong ones. And more on the, well, obviously now you've been an enthusiast about AI for a long time, already from the university time and so on. But let's say for someone that is just, approaching AI now, maybe they just got their first account on ChatGPT a few years after, are there some resources, that you use to learn more about it? Or maybe, I don't know, even people that you follow, some inspirational people maybe that really helped you to get to know more about AI, or, any other resource that you think is good?
My biggest resource is actually ChatGPT and Claude itself. So I always
Directly to the source.
Yeah. So I always, when I want to know anything, I ask ChatGPT. And by the way, one super useful function of ChatGPT is the advanced voice mode, where you can just ask ChatGPT questions with your voice, and you can talk to it like a human being, like a human being. It's definitely AI, but it's that's super useful. And I am thinking, what are good sources to get started? Yeah, for me, yeah, mostly when I want to know something, I go to YouTube and I search for it on YouTube, and then I look for the thumbnail that I like the most. There's not one person in particular that I would say that there are a bunch of people on YouTube that are really good in explaining AI concepts and how to get started with ChatGPT and how to get started with AI out there, but I wouldn't know their names by heart right now. But if you start searching for that, you will definitely see it. And there are a lot of fun videos and 5-minute videos to just get started and get a bit of a feeling, because there's so much to learn in this space, and already starting a little bit, it's going to help you a lot.
Yeah, and I think, it's one of those things, that you really have to experiment with, and I have to say, in 2022, when ChatGPT was first launched, I was among the skepticals. I was like, oh, no, again, another like a big buzzword, ChatGPT everywhere, AI, ChatGPT. And then I waited a couple of months. It was like, let's see if it sticks, And then I started to play with it. And now I don't think I could live without it. Like, I use it in so many ways. Well, content is one thing, but then, even if we're building a training, for example, I do go to ChatGPT to get, maybe ideas on how to structure the slides, or, where to get statistics if I want to get statistics and such. I think in general, I mean, AI obviously is here to stay and is really revolutionizing the way we do things. So from your expert point of view, how do you see AI really impacting business development and in general the commercial side of business, right? So, and here we can include also customer success, sales, customer service. So what do you think, like how are companies going to change with AI?
So the way that I think in general that AI is going to evolve is that AI agents are going to have as big impacts on the world as internet had. And that if you are more of a knowledge worker or working a lot on your computer, right now you're communicating with the internet. In a couple of years, you will be only communicating with AI. So right now, for one of the big changes that a lot of people already have is shifting from Google searches to ChatGPT searches or Perplexity searches. So this is the start of it. Instead of it, right now, if I search something on Google, I really wonder why I did this for years. I'm trying to find all the between the links, and there's so much junk on there. And well, ChatGPT and Perplexity are giving me such a clear overview or an answer on the question that I'm asking. And I do expect, and in the long term, that we will have different AI agents that are specialized in different things, that you will communicate with in one way or another, and that you will you will guide them in your business or in your day-to-day life. So that's the biggest, at least the long-term expectation I have with AI.
Very good. And if you had to give, a little piece of advice to someone that is working in business development now, right? Which maybe it's a bit like me in 2022 when I kind of like was a bit resisting this change, and there are a lot of people, there are still some people that literally don't know what ChatGPT is. What would you give to this type of business developers as an advice, as a career advice, basically?
Learn about AI, because that's it's obvious, of course, that it's I'm biased because I only do AI,
Yeah.
but I definitely, because it is here, it's here to stay. AI. So we're not only talking about ChatGPT and AI anymore, but now we're talking about AI agents, which are superhumans. Yesterday I saw this video of 2 AI robots who are actually packing in grocery. So they got grocery items and they were putting it in the fridge, and they were perfectly putting the ketchup on the top shelf, and it was so scary. Look that video up, but then you will know that this AI, it's I don't know where we're going with the world. It is a bit scary, but it is here to stay.
And actually, there was also the case, no, that I watched it, I think, on YouTube, of this guy that fell in love with an AI, and it's insane, no? It's like, if you think about it, but I think this, like, especially for people maybe that are a little bit lonely and so on, or elderly, I think ChatGPT can be, or ChatGPT, AI in general, can become a little bit a companion, right? Sort of like someone you can talk to, if you're not feeling well, or if you're feeling lonely and so on. What do you think? Like, what's your take on that? Because that is also like, well, in one way it's kind of weird, right? But from a human psychological perspective, I can understand that, if you're lonely and then there's this AI that is always talking to you, always so nice to you, like, I can imagine that in some cases, it goes a little bit sideways.
Well, I can even go further. I forgot the name of the company, but one of the biggest consumer companies right now in AI is a company that offers AI companionship. And this company was outcompeting all the other. I never heard of it before, and it's a pity that I don't remember the name now. But it's outcompeting every other AI consumer company right now. So there's such a big demand for AI companionship, and I don't know where this will lead in terms of human evolvement and social evolvement of people. If you are only used to talking to an AI that always agrees with you on everything and always tells you how great you are. I mean, I can imagine that's really nice, but it is socially challenging if that's the way that you are used to communicate with people. So not sure where this will lead, but it is a huge thing right now, AI companionship.
Totally. Yeah, I think there is even a movie now called Companion, and I did not watch the trailer. I was recommending not to, but I think it's really all about that, And I mean, there was also like another one a few years ago, I think it was called Lucy. So that I think like people have been playing around with the concept of, robots and AI companionship already for a while, but it's definitely interesting to see it happening. It's like, I didn't think it would become like a reality so quickly. So that's very, very interesting. All right. Well, Carolina, thank you so much. This was really interesting. Again, so I already mentioned that people should follow you on LinkedIn and really just get, like, you share so much practical knowledge, so very useful. But how else can people get in touch with you? So if they want to learn more about what you do, and maybe they get more into agentic AI, how can you help them, and how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so you can look up my website, carolinaposma.com. If you want to learn more, you can just schedule a call with me, a 15-minute call. I'm always happy to think along with you and always happy to help. If you want to stay more in the background and not really in touch with me, I also have a YouTube channel where I'm also sharing videos about AI and how to build AI agents yourself.
Awesome. Very good. And then I am thinking out loud, but I think it would be really nice to have a webinar together, maybe where you can actually show how to use this AI, and, like, because now you really sold me on the idea that it's so easy. So I want to see it in practice.
Yes,
so everyone, if you would like Carolina to come back with a webinar where you can actually see what she can do, just leave us a comment and we'll make sure to make it happen. But for now, Carolina, thank you so much. It was really nice to catch up and talk a little bit more about AI. The invite is open for the webinar, so maybe we can talk about that later. And to everyone watching, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us in this episode. Of course, we will be back next week with a new episode of Let's Talk BD podcast. But of course, make sure that you subscribe and you hit the notification bell so you don't miss it next week. Thank you so much, everyone, and bye.
Subscribe and listen to more episodes of Let's Talk BD podcast.